back to my channel and another Inspiration Friday project. Today's project is going to be creating this cute wood sign using permanent vinyl. A lot of people like to paint their signs, but I prefer doing it with vinyl. So today, that's going to be our project. So let's start out by prepping our board here. Now I picked up this board, I believe I got it at Hobby Lobby. It is a cute board, individual pieces put together. It's got a nice finish. Now I always like to check my boards to see if it's smooth, and this board is really smooth and the vinyl will adhere to it. If by chance you pick up a board or you have some wood that you're going to use and there's a rough finish to it, I would definitely recommend giving it a good sand. But in this case, this board is really nice. So what I'm going to do is I am going to use a stain. Now you could paint this, you could leave it, you know, this natural finish, but I'm actually going to put a ebony stain on it. And just to give it a little bit of hint of color. I still want the wood to show through. After I do the ebony, I am going to put a clear coat of gloss over the top that really helps the vinyl adhere to the wood. And of course, whenever I'm using stain, I like to have a pair of rubber gloves around. I do initially put the stain on with the paintbrush. You can do it just with a rag, but normally I put it on with the paintbrush and then I rub it off. One other item I like to do is I like to always protect my work area. So I have got a huge roll of white butcher paper. So I'm just going to cover my work area here, especially since I'm working with the stain. So I've just got that covered. I'm going to go ahead and put on my gloves just to protect my hands from the stain, especially since we're using ebony in this case. Helps if you put your gloves on the right way. And let me grab a screwdriver out of my handy dandy little tool chest, maybe. See if I can do it with the Phillips. Not the size you would normally do. I should have had this opened already. Looks like it's going to come for me. I did give it a shake, so I made sure that it was mixed up good. I'm able to get it off there, and you can see this is really showing a black. But when I put it on as a stain, we are going to, let me show you when I, see how when I rub it, I'm still going to be able to see that wood grain through there. And that's what I want. So I put a little bit on, and then I like to rub it out really well. And then we'll put a little bit more on. The paintbrush is really full. That goes a long ways. You can see that it really gives it a nice finish. And I love that I can still, hope you guys can see that, I still have that wood tone coming through. It's going to be another fun item to add to the gift basket that I'm putting together that is all themed around wine. So again, I'm just giving this a good work over with the stain. I am going to want to pick up my edges also, but right now I'm just working on the front. So I got a nice finish on the front. So I'm going to continue on, and I'm going to get the sides all done, and then we'll move on to our next step. So I launched Design Space, and what we're going to do now is we are going to put together the saying that we're going to put on the sign. So what I like to do is go out to images inside of Design Space, and I've already been out there looking, but I just put the word wine because the topic of this sign is going to be wine related. And I just wanted to show you guys all the different sayings that are out there in Design Space. And now keep in mind, if there is a little A like this green A, that means it's included in the Access subscription, which I definitely subscribe to and I highly recommend for you. And so as I scroll down, I found one down here, this one. I really thought this was a cute saying. So I'm going to go ahead and use this one for my sign. And I'm just going to click Insert Image. And I've got a blank canvas that I just put that in. Now, basically all we need to do is resize this sign so that it is going to fit on my board. Now I know my board is 19 inches long. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make my sign be 14 inches just to give a little bit of space on the bottom and the top of the sign. So that'll give me, what, about 19 inches, but give me about 2.5 inches from the top and the bottom. So now if I were to go to make, and I'm going to go ahead and do it and show you, if I were to go to make right now, it is going to say, hey Lisa, you've got a sign that is larger than 11 by 5, and so it's not going to fit on that 12 by 12 mat. So it's defaulting to the 12 by 24. Now I know some of you don't have both size mats. I do, so I could just go ahead and make it right away. But I want to show you how we can still make this sign even if you've just got the 12 by 12 mats. So we've used the slice feature before, so we're going to go ahead and do that again now. And so I am just going to go and make a square. I'm going to use my shift key, grab the picture or the wording and the square, and I'm going to hit slice. Okay, so now when I bring these out, I can get rid of these guys, and I can get rid of that. And now if I go to make, it is going to put it on a 12 by 12 mat. So then all I have to do is put in proportion where that a lot is going to go. So I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to go ahead and cancel, and I am going to go ahead and make this be all one again because I do have the larger mats. And if you do have it, I recommend that you do it on the larger because it's all sized proportionately there for you. So I'm going to group these together again, and then I am going to go back over here and I am going to say make, and by grouping it, you can see that did not work. That did not put it how I wanted it to be. So what I wanted to do, and I did that on purpose to show you guys, what I wanted to do is I need to weld these guys back together. So I'm going to go ahead and do weld, and by doing that, you can see here now I have one image. So now I go back over to make, and it is going to go to my larger size mat. I'm going to say that's okay, and then I'm going to click continue, and it is going to look for my maker, and once it finds my maker, we are going to set the material. Now I found this permanent matte vinyl from Cricut, and it is a brushed, it almost looks like a brushed aluminum, and I can't say that word very well, but it's just got a really pretty texture to it. So I'm going to go ahead and browse, and I believe I looked at this before, and I'm just going to type in brushed, and there it is. So it's premium vinyl, true brushed. Okay, so I'm going to go, and when you see premium, basically I think of premium and I think of permanent. So I'm going to go ahead and select that as my vinyl. I'm going to do done, and then it comes to my setup. So my material is a premium vinyl, and my tool setting is nothing in A, fine point in B, which 90% of our projects we've been using the B, and then I'm going to load my mat. So first, before I load my mat, what I'm going to do is I am going to go cut a piece of vinyl that will fit the size I need, and then I'm going to load it on my mat, and I will meet you over at my machine and show you what that looks like. Okay, so I have cut my piece of vinyl to be about the size of the cut, and I am going to load my mat. And I just like to make sure I get it on here nice and even. And get it on nice and smooth there. So I've got that all on. I'm going to go ahead and pull my Cricut into line. And then I am going to load it. So we're going to go ahead and load our mat. We're going to hit start. And we're going to wait for our little Cricut button to go. Our machine, like it always does, it's going to go out and check and make sure that I've got the right blade loaded. It sees that I do have the right blade loaded, and it is going to start cutting. We are going to unload our machine. I'm going to pull it out of the way so I got a little bit more workspace to work with. And then remember, we always unload our mat going from the back. And I always make sure I hang my mats up right away so that they don't get stuff on them. And then we are going to weed. So of course you guys all know I love my trusty pin pen. And so I am going to start here. See if I can see my wording. And we are going to see what this looks like. This just cuts so nice. I could have trimmed off some of that excess on the side and not wasted so much, but should have done that, but I didn't. So this is really, it's kind of a brushed, well that's what it's called, brush, but it's just got a really cool texture to it, this vinyl. Normally I like to use 651 vinyl on all my signs, but this is the second sign I've made using this, and I just really like it. I think it's pretty new to Cricut. I actually picked it up at Joann's when I was over at Joann's earlier this week. And so all I have left to do is take out the little insides. And this pin pen, I'll tell you, is the best. Great. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to go get my sign. And my sign, remember after we stained it, I said that I was going to put a coat of clear coat on it. So I went ahead and took it outside and I put the Ultra Cover Gloss clear coat on it, and that just really helps make the vinyl adhere to it. So I've left that outside drying, so I'm gonna go grab that and I'll be right back with you guys. Now what I just completed doing off camera is I cut a piece of my transfer tape. I really like the Blue Grid transfer tape, and I get it from 651 Vinyl. And I used my trusty metal ruler from Cricut and my X-Acto knife from Cricut and cut that. And then I've also got the self-healing mat, so it works really nice to do that. So I like to have a piece of transfer tape that will fit my image. You can see I'm a little short. Must have cut the wrong way. No problem, we'll just cut another piece to pick up that other part of the design. So what I do with the transfer tape is I like to just peel off the beginning of it and then very carefully place it on so you can get it straight. Just like that. And then I can peel it and come all the way down. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and grab my roll of tape and just pick up another 3 inches. So we'll just go through the process that I did off camera just so you guys can see. I love this ruler and the self-healing mat and the precision knife. Cuts so nice. Just roll that back up. I buy this by the roll. People use different types of transfer tape. This is the one that I've found to be my absolute favorite. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Now this is a smaller piece, and so I don't have to roll it out the same way. So I'm able to just line it up and put it on. So there we have got it. Now the other thing I like to do is I like to take my little varnishing tool, and I varnish mine from the back, and you just want it on there really well. And then everything looks really good here. And then I'm going to take it and I peel from the back. That way I can tell if it is adhering, and if it's not, I just push it down with my finger and keep going. And you can see that it does not want to be cooperative with me this afternoon, and that's just fine. Patience, patience, patience. Just want to make sure it all gets stuck down. So now, and I just keep redoing it a little bit, and maybe I should have varnished it a little bit more, but it's going to work. Amazing how I just make one touch. It just hasn't made the contact it needs. If I just make one touch like that, it normally picks right up. Whoops. So sticky that I'm, there we go. Don't want to forget the dot on the eye. One more dot on the eye there. I don't want to forget him. And he's going to be Henri. My last piece. He just does not want to. There you go. I forced the little guy. Okay. So now I have got it all on there. I'm going to get rid of my backing. I'm going to put my transfer tape away. And before we get started, I want to show you the sign. I made a change from when we first started. So when I got my sign out and I put my vinyl next to it, I determined that it was a little bit dark for my sign to show up, the vinyl that I chose. So what I did is I took some Waverly chalk paint, and I took the paintbrush and just put a little bit on it, and then I took my rag and I just wiped it. And so it kind of looks a little bit more distressed. It's picked up some lighter gray colors. And then what I did is I still put the coat of clear gloss on it. So that will help with our vinyl adhering to the sign. So everything feels really good here. That clear gloss dries really fast. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I am going to measure to find the middle of my sign. So my ruler is 18 inches. And that is, my sign's a little bit bigger than that. So let's see. So right about, so this is really close to the middle. Okay, right in there. And then if I go crossways, now this is what the hard part is, because this sign is kind of jagged. So I'm going to stick with the middle there. I'm going to take my vinyl, and the non-sticky side, I'm going to kind of just fold it and put a little crease in it, just so I can eyeball where the center is. Okay, I'm going to make sure I put it the right side going. And then that was my middle, right about there. Just kind of eyeballing it. And I've got about 2 1/4, and I've got about 2 3/8. So I think I could come down just a tad bit. So nothing's stuck yet. I'm just going to come down just a tad bit underneath that. And I think that looks really pretty good. So I just want to make sure I'm straight. I always like to measure when you've got words. So now I'm exactly at 2 there, and I'm exactly at 2 there. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my varnishing tool, and I am really going to press down on this. Okay, you can kind of see if there's any air. Looks pretty good. So let's see if our paper's going to cooperate with us. So that was that extra piece we had to cut. And there we have it. Whine a little, laugh a lot. And it might be kind of hard for you guys to see, but with that brush color to it, it just looks really, really nice. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take it back outside, and I am just going to do a very light spray of the sealer. You don't necessarily need to do it, but I just like to give it just one more coat, and then I will show you the finished project. But that is what it takes to use wood, varnish, permanent vinyl to make your signs. I think it looks great. So here's our finished product. I've taken it outside and I've given it that last light spray of the clear coat finish, and we've got a finished project. So I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial on making a wood sign using permanent vinyl. And thanks so much for joining me for another Inspiration Friday. If you liked this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And click on the bell to remind you whenever I upload a new video. Also, check out my blog at funstuffcrafts.com. And if you have any questions, please add a comment below. I'd love to hear from you.